Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? Peasant Chat. We talk to poor people on Father's Day, a day that should get more attention, but for whatever fucking reason, Mother's Day gets more attention. Like any other day of the year gets more attention than the one that really fucking matters. Like if it ain't for fucking dudes, you ain't got shit. You know, your lights ain't on, your water doesn't flow, your electric, nothing functions without men. So I'm kind of blown away that Father's Day does not get the rep it gets. But we're kind of used to that, right? We're just going to get given socks, right? If you're a father right now and you get socks and underwear and a thank you, and hey, go out there and grill some burgers for us. Yeah, you lost in life. So we're just used to it at this point. Today we're going to talk about is race car parts are not daily driver parts. Understand this. The moment you are installing parts to enhance the performance of the vehicle, you are now enhancing the performance, but taking away efficiency. What does that mean? When it comes to fuel systems, suspension components, race car parts are not meant to be under a 3-year, 30,000 or 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty. The moment you start installing race car parts on your vehicle, you should buy a daily. A daily you can't modify. A daily you cannot or won't modify like I did with the SUV. I need a daily vehicle to get me around because I'm going to be installing race car parts on my Mustang. So we'll talk about not necessarily why, but I'll give you my thought process as to why the moment you are pushing the performance of a vehicle and you are prioritizing performance, you should probably drive that car 50 miles a week or 100 miles a week, or take it off the road and go racing in it, because you're going to start seeing things fail really fast, really soon, and you're going to wonder, well, I don't get it. I just put it on. I can't imagine that this thing is already fucked up. I can't imagine it's only... You guys start thinking OEM style, let's say longevity, on parts that are meant to just enhance the performance. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
It does suck. You know, it sucks that the fathers don't get the rep they should be getting, but you know what? We're used to it. We're second fiddle until someone tries to break into your house at 3 in the morning, and then they ask us to risk our lives to save the family. PMAS, Nick James and PMAS coming at you with the best cold air intakes on the planet. Nobody else matters. Cold Air's HPX sensors for big power applications. Hit up PMASmath.com for more information. D&H Performance, D&Hperformance.com. You're going to get your PMAS cold air intake there. You're going to get your PMAS HPX sensor there. You're going to get everything there for anything you need for your Go Fast goodies, whether it's your Mustangs, Camaro, Chargers, fuel systems, wheels, tires, exhausts. Get them at D&Hperformance.com. Parts Farm, partsfarm.com. Used parts, okay? So if you want a crank pedal, you want a transmission, you want a cross member, you want a center console, you want a steering wheel, whatever, partsfarm.com is where to get it. They ship. Total Solution, Ryan said on Total Solution, he's stepping his game up. He's going to start building engines. He's going to start offering parts. He invested a lot of money into his shop in Puerto Rico to get you guys parts, service, just to diversify his business. And Belak Industries, Damian Barato in Miami, trying to go 100 miles an hour in his boat with Motec, out of all things. The guy literally has Motec on a boat. Like, you want to talk about a guy that's addicted to speed. He's addicted to speed, and when it comes to his boat, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. I'm trying to make the font a little bigger right next to the printer. Boop, and then we should be good to go. Let's say hi to the people here. We'll talk, and then we'll hang out on this Father's Day edition. Clint Stroke a couple of times. Nick, Joe Swish, B. Lavesh, Yusuf, Z23, Kemzilla, Frank Donahue, Yusuf, Wesley Stewart, DR Fox, 9540, John Jones, Coyote Kelly, TJ Sikorsky, Robo Style, Dual Overhead Cam, and Joshua Judd, JC3, Craig Walls, Mr. Billet Noonan himself, Mike Max, Mini Bad Badman, Joseph Lacey. If it's a 10 or 80, you're a non-driving motherfucker. AJ, Renee Desmarais, Randy Montalvo, 5.0, golf cart girls wheel guy. Good morning, happy Sunday. Happy to see everyone. Sunday cause to me, every Sunday is Father's Day. Okay, Phil Fez, Meeting by Madman, Ben Galay, CPR Andrew, The Volve Man, Rever Racing, Craig Walls became a Bitcho level member. Unreal. He stepped up his game, apparently. Smash the Devour, Tay Speaks, Gregory Wells, Gregory Elvision, Jared Wells, Mr. He is the dad. Happy Father's Day. TJ, Rami Zaidan, Puro Pinche, he's not Puro Pinche Nafas, he's in Puerto Rico. Christopher, Beach Pirate, Danny, Rami Zaidan, Happy Poppy Days. Darwin Gomez, Meeting by Madman, Fernando, Evil Horse. By the way, shout out to Eric Vega. He became a father today for the second time. Derek, Mark Christensen, Mini Bad Madman, Radioactive Fabrications, Vinny, Black Cat, Juby, JD Swag, and D-Rock Fox. TDC did make a comeback yesterday. Got the dating channel going again. Got a lot of stories, and a lot of people need that advice. They need that dating advice. So the dating channel is back going. We'll probably do a couple of live streams a week just to fuck around and hang out. So let's say, for instance, you have, which is a very common combo, ESS 10 or 80 car. Let's say you buy a 10 or 80 car, 18 to 23, and you're cruising along and you're having a good time. Everything is good. Now I want to go a little faster. Well, you get a tune, right? Tune's not a problem. You get a tune. Now the transmission shifts a little firmer. The shift schedule's changed up a little bit. You don't really make a lot more horsepower because you're on pump gas, so things are good. Then after about, let's say 3 months, you're like, all right, I want to step it up. You get exhaust. You lock the IMRCs open, you get a PMAS cold air intake, and you get an E85 tune, and then you enable, harder shifting, manual mode, blah, blah, blah. Now the problem with this is it's a snowball going downhill. It is just getting bigger and bigger, and it's going to be difficult to stop, right? So then you fall into the trap of like, well, I got to keep going because progression is the thought process. I have to progress. I have to get faster. So far, your tune, your IMRC being locked, and your cold air is not real, and maybe your exhaust is not causing a longevity problem. Yes, the exhaust is lighter, right? Because it's tubular and it's not cast. It's got exotic materials in it, so it's lighter, makes better sound. And you removed your heavy, very heavy exhaust. But why is it heavy? Tell me why your flanges on the stock exhaust are so thick. Tell me why the bolts are the way they are. Tell me why everything on an exhaust system is robust as hell. Because it has to last for a long time. The manufacturer isn't going to give you aluminum exhaust with long tube headers that are very thin and have exotic materials because, while yes, it will enhance performance, it ain't going to last long. Not everyone lives in a warm weather state. A lot of people live in shitty ass areas that have a lot of salt on the ground, especially in the wintertime. So manufacturers are not going to give you something that is going to last little for, let's just say, the best performance possible. A great example of this is exotic cars. Exotic cars have the thought process of speed, but not longevity and efficiency. But they're extremely expensive. So what are you paying for? You're paying for the performance. But then when those cars fail, which is often and early, it's because everything is prioritized with speed in mind. So now you're taking your Mustang, which is prioritized for longevity by Ford, with big exhaust, big brakes, big looking control arms, all this thick, cast, robust stuff, and you start throwing tubular K-members in there, aftermarket exhaust that weigh half as much, headers from China, 2M, whoever, turbo systems from China, and most importantly, fuel systems. I don't know of any aftermarket performance-oriented fuel system that was designed for daily driving. If you look at how the stock fuel system is plumbed in the hat, the lines they use, the way they route it, that looks pretty robust, doesn't it? But it doesn't scream performance. So a lot of people install a aftermarket fuel system, Dash 8 lines or Dash 10, all these fancy fittings, but then they fail to realize that the pump that they're using creates a lot of heat. The fuel that they're using is not being tested a lot because, look, gasoline is sort of like a solvent. It'll wash out, generally, a lot of gunk in the fuel system. But E85 being hygroscopic and not being consistent across all boards lends the fuel system to having more issues. So how often do you change your fuel filter on your, let's say, Ford Innovations Seagate fuel system? How many of you check the socks on the pumps? How often do you check the socks on the pump? You understand that a aftermarket fuel system does not have a bucket, so that when you're under a quarter tank of gas, you're going to momentarily run it lean. You're going to starve the pumps of actual fuel. So that'll cause them to get hot, and that'll cause potential junk to get thrown down into the filter. How often do you check your filter? How often do you check your socks? How often do you, meaning on the fuel pumps, they have a little sock on the bottom. How often do you check those? Never? So the moment you install an aftermarket fuel system in your car, it stops being your daily driver. You now have to maintenance that car as if it was a race car. That's right, kiddos. Gone are the days where you think you can install an aftermarket fuel system and it's going to last you 100,000 miles. It's going to last you 100,000. What? A fuel system, aftermarket fuel system, Dash 8 lines, Dash 8 returns, regulated, blah, blah, blah. No more daily driving. That car is ill-equipped to serve you as a daily driver. That car now has race car parts in it, so you should treat it as such. Don't want to do that? You want to take a 5-hour drive to grandma's house during Father's Day? Or granddad's house to Father's Day? The car fails on the way? No shit! Because it's not meant to be a daily driver. When you see how the automobile manufacturers build their stuff, they prioritize longevity. Performance parts prioritize performance, not longevity. So unless you are under your car constantly, like I have 5 vehicles. One of them is a daily, the Cadillac. The second car, the S197 GT Auto, can be daily, but I don't drive it more than 100 miles a week. And the GT500 maybe 50 miles a week. And that car gets way more attention than my Cadillac. I just throw fuel in it. Today I have to put tires on it. That's the only maintenance items I've ever had to do to the Cadillac. It gets fuel, I check the air filter, I change the oil, and I change the things that are wear items, brakes and tires and stuff like that. I've owned that car almost 3 years or 2 years. I haven't had to do shit to that car than just basically dump fuel in it. The GT500, shit. I've had to check the fuel system. I've had to reroute lines. I've had to replace the motor. I've had to change the clutch. I've had to change the wheels and tire setups. I've had to change so many things. On the S197, after I installed an aftermarket drive shaft, it exploded, took out the transmission. So I had to get another transmission. I had to get chunks taken out of the motor. I had to smash things back in. It is not a daily. The GT500 is not a daily because it has race car shit in it. So I'm not going to rely on those. So if you are one of these Edgars that literally has one car and you decide to make that car a race car, but are driving it daily, don't be surprised and don't get Pikachu face when shit goes bad because you are using it for it's not its intended use based on the part you installed. Y'all motherfuckers got Bellax on there. Y'all motherfuckers got welds on there. 4 Innovations fuel system, a tubular K-member, tubular control arms, spherical bushings everywhere. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, I don't know what happened. My K-member broke. I don't know what happened. My filter collapsed. My fuel system got hot. I'm running 17 pumps at the same time, and I'm just idling down the street at 100 degrees outside, dailying to work, and I wonder why my fuel system ate shit and all my pumps died. They're not designed for that. God damn it. I can't believe that I am giving life advice to people in the ticket system. And this is the thing that really gets me. You have a 800 to 900 horsepower car. You rebuild the transmission because it did transmission things. And then you have issues at about 5,000 miles. And then you're like, I don't get it, Alex. The transmission only has 5,000 miles. The transmission with aftermarket clutches, aftermarket bullshit, aftermarket torque converter, aftermarket valve body in an 800 horsepower application, and you're equating mileage to forget it. It's race car shit. Longevity does not come into play here. You are now race car shit, and you're wanting OEM style thought process. It shouldn't fail after 5,000 miles. Says who? If you're racing it, whipping the shit out of this car constantly, hell yeah, it'll fail. It can fail at any time, unless you have a factory 800 horsepower car. Factory 800 horsepower car seems to be okay, like a Charger, Challenger, but those things eat cams. Those things have IRS issues. Those things have their own quirks at a starting point of $80,000. So please don't tell me I only got 500 miles after this build. I only have 1,000 miles. It doesn't matter. Alex, I bought brand new O2s and they're only a year old. There's no way they've gone bad. You have them on 2M Bobo headers. The moment you start modifying your vehicle, all that shit goes out the window. It is not a daily anymore. Treat it like a race car. Sorry. That's exactly how it is. It's just how it is. We'll talk about it. Do you disagree with me? If you do, you're wrong. Fuck you. Happy Father's Day. I ran barbecue. I rather barbecue at home than restaurants. Steaks on the grill. Morning. TDC was on fire, says Terminator. Salty, I missed TDC. I don't even know you was on. That's all good because you probably get roasted there. No offense, because we talk that shit. Head Games Motorworks says, hey, muchachos. Joe Swish says, longevity. Jason Faber says, good morning, everyone. Longevity. What's good, Head Games Motorworks? Alex, your flange is thick, says, and Dave, very rare live appearance for me. What's up? What's up? Father here, marinating skirt steak. Eat some carne asada for lunch today. Nope, I burnt a few 274 pumps. I can't say it's my fault for keeping the tank below. Nope, I burnt a few 274s. Can say it's my fault for keeping the tank below half tank. I learned my lesson. It's not a daily anymore the moment you have an aftermarket fuel system. What does a daily do? It just starts, and you can sit in traffic for an hour, bumper to bumper, and the car is not going to even sneeze at it. Can you do that with an aftermarket fuel system with a TVS with a 2.4 upper and a 20% lower and a fuel system circulating fuel, and your IATs in bumper to bumper traffic are 140, 150, 160. So now the fuel lines are getting hot. The fuel pump is getting hot. Everything's expanding. It's hating life. Those fuel systems are designed for this. Push the car up to the starting line. Vroom, start it up. Burnout with a full tank of gas or, not sloshing fuel. Run the car down, return back to your pit, shut the car off. That's what race car parts are designed for. Now, some of you are going to go, what about road racing parts? Road racing parts are designed to road race on a generally smooth track because last time I checked, Laguna Seca does not have potholes like Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York does. So if you install a aftermarket K-member on your car and you are racing it or you're daily driving it in the Northeast and you hit potholes, the weather changes from negative, minus 10 degrees to, 60 degrees within a short, let's say you wake up in the morning and it's 20 degrees outside of New York in the springtime. And then by the end of the day, it's 60. It happens. You have 40 or 50 degree swings in the Northeast, especially in the spring and the fall. And then you hit a pothole. So now that metal has seen 50, 60 degree swings in temperature, torsioning, and then a big pothole, and it yanks down the coilover, and the coilover doesn't react fast enough, and it's what the fuck? When you're at a road racetrack, the coil is not extending this much, the strut's not extending this much. It's just like, woo, it's doing this, It's designed to work within a certain parameter. It's not designed like an OEM thing to last. Race car parts equals reliability out the window. Happy daddy days, daddy. Does Caitlyn Jenner celebrate Father's Day? Make sure you have a AAA card. Smash It Bauer says, I always try to use many OEM parts as I can for my cars. I like to have good balance between reliability and performance. I still don't really daily them either. One of the easiest ways to make a halfway decent fast car is to live at 650 to maybe 700 variable horsepower at most with a stock fuel pump and a booster pump. A booster pump, fuel pump voltage booster. A very high quality header, American Racing, Ultimate Header, Cooks. A very high quality exhaust, Cooks, MagnaFlow, full stop. And that's it. That's as reliable as your car will ever. Reliable. Remember, listen to my words, retards. A lot of you guys hear me say reliable and they're like, what are you doing? Reliable. 650 to 700 rear wheel horsepower, booster pump, good 1000cc injector, good exhaust, good header, and then leave the suspension generally alone, maybe some drop springs, some nice wheels. That's as good as that car is ever going to get. What's the next step? A fuel system, because you want to make more power. Buy reliability. Power will be there. Plenty of fuel supply, but that bitch ain't meant to go 80 miles to work, do your job, 80 miles back for 5 days, and then that weekend to expect the most optimal performance possible of that car is silly, in my opinion. I made the mistake of putting a Pro Charger on my Silverado. Now I'm daily driving my Lightning because I can't keep a belt on the Silverado. Don't touch the daily. My dad taught me that a long time ago. Don't fuck with the daily. Life advice. Well, it is Father's Day. Same people can't find the clit either. Going through the drive-thru with a spool, wondering why it's hard to turn. I moved the GT500 in the parking lot here to back it into the garage, and there's leaves on the ground a little bit. There's this tree that just constantly sheds leaves. I don't even understand it. It's just like ridiculous. So there's these little kids that come around with their bikes and they like the cars. Oh fuck, this guy's got cool cars or whatever. So I'm turning the car, and then you could see the outside wheel because it has a spool. It's and it's marking up the ground. And he's like, what is that? The kid like freaks out. He's like 10 years old. What the fuck? Why is your wheel spinning? Are you doing a burnout? I'm like, no, I'm not doing a burnout. It's got a spool. He's like, what's a spool? So I had to explain to him that, it is locked. But when the car turns, the inside tire generally spins slower than the outside tire. But because it has a lock differential, they spin at the same time. So it just loses grip. And if it's not, twisting the suspension to bias what's happening, and if the suspension is stiff enough, it'll jump and chirp and do all this crazy stuff. And he was like, my dad's car doesn't do that. I'm like, well, your dad's gay. Most I'm going to do with E85, then someday ESS low boost. Yeah, good luck with that. I think it's a drug. You go on, oh my God, Facebook is the absolute worst. If you are on Facebook getting advice from anybody or Instagram, God bless you. After installing a whole stop the hop kit and tubular K member, I knew it wasn't a daily for me, and the noise, vibration stuff causes it's insane. Exactly. When I tell you, yeah, get a stop the hop kit, Alex, it sounds like shit. Not my problem. You asked me how to stop wheel hop. You didn't ask me how to stop wheel hop and maintain perfect driving habits. Fatherly advice on Father's Day. That's racing. Drove a big block for a year. One eye on the road. 2M Bobo headers. Yeah, absolutely. One eye on EGT. Back in the day, I had an 85 Capri with Southside suspension, and that bitch was my daily driver. Modified Classic says compromise always goes hand in hand with modifications. Daily is needed. Let the race car do race car things. I met a fellow Army member this weekend at a cruise night. Ottawa, are you in here? Wow, you guys looking finna fuck or what? My daily driver was idling for about 10 hours yesterday. My 3 of us the only car, and it's a race car. Don't do race car shit anymore. No friends to race anymore. Shit's too expensive. Just get in shape and be healthy. Yeah. I cruised the GT500 yesterday in the heat of the day because I need to do some vetting. It's running really good. IATs are okay based on the conditions, but boy, that thing does not have air conditioning. So I'm like, shit, definitely not a daily. So the only time I can drive that car is either early mornings, late afternoons, or the winter time here, or in the racetrack. I'm working in New England. These roads suck here. New England sucks in general. New England is trash area. Beautiful during the winter. Beautiful during the spring and fall. The food is good. The people are shit. And the politics are shit. Freedom says, my car runs fine with return style fuel system. Once I switch to 85, the car has starting problems, hot or cold. Do you think it's a tune? No, it's not the tune. It's the fuel. It's the fuel. Stop driving it every day. It's a race car now. It's a race car. Stop worrying about cold starts. It's a race car. Oh, it's not a race car? Yes, it is. You have a return style fuel system. Alex says a return style. Yup. Because you got pumps that will create so much fucking heat in bumper to bumper traffic. You have a hat that can only gather fuel when the car has over a quarter tank of gas. That is now not a daily driver, so it is a race car. So do yourself a favor and buy yourself a daily. The tune is not causing the startup issues. It's the fuel. Can the tune help with startup issues? Sure, by flooding it with fuel. Stupid. It's stupid. You have a race car. This is what I'm talking about. People want to have perfect startup. I want perfect. And if you're a fucking shop that's promising perfection on race car shit, and then you just dump it off to the tuner? Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah, this thing's gonna drive like stock. This fuel system's gonna prime like stock. Everything. ID 1700s, E85, triple pumps, full hot. Yep, it's gonna drive like stock. Oh, really? Customers are shoving credit cards down your face. Shoot, 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 shoot. Bye. Give it to the tuner. Hey, tuner, what the fuck? My startup's a little weird. You got 1700s. It's 20 degrees outside. Well, but the shop said, then take it back to the fucking shop. You know what? I'm about to start doing that shit. If customers start complaining about their car acting like a race car, I'm gonna say, what did your shop promise you something that is not possible? Well, they said it was gonna be fine. They're wrong. They're there to sell you parts. They're there to sell you labor. They're not there to look out for you. They want your money, dickhead. They're gonna promise you the world. Stock drivability, pump gas, 800 horsepower. Hands it off to the tuner. Now it's the tuner's problem. Fuck these shops. The ones that do that. They're good shops. They go, okay, look, what do you want to do? What do you want? You want to go racing? This is a race car now. Fuel system E85? Yeah, forget it. Race car. But the internet, who is full of retards, they go, hey, your single turbo car that has a hood exit doesn't start perfectly in 20-degree weather? Yeah, with E120? Your tuner sucks. Got it. Then you watch World Cup. And you see these guys try to start their cars when it gets to 40 degrees. You've seen it. Those guys are professionals. Those guys are professional racers. That's all they do. And some of them have a hell of a time starting their car. Are you out there on the internet going, look at that dumbass who races professionally not be able to start his car on methanol and 40-degree weather? Do you say that? I bet you don't, stupid motherfucker, because you don't know shit. A couple minutes behind, but there's no reason for your fuel system to not last 50,000 miles. Wrong, 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 wrong. You are wrong. Shut up. They're not designed to last 50,000 miles. They're designed to prioritize performance. They are not designed to last 50,000 miles. You are 100% wrong. Fuck me, these people. And those are the people that get on Facebook and say, you should last 50,000 miles. I don't see why not. Based on what? Based on what? Do you think these fuel system companies put a fuel system in a car and go daily driving for 50,000 miles? And then they sell it as a daily drivable 50,000 mile warranty fuel system? No. It will flow this much fuel at this pressure with these pumps. That's all they promise you. Holy shit. I can't believe people are actually saying these things. It should last 50,000 miles. Oh my God. Yep, it sucks. Gotta dodge potholes like whack-a-mole. Hello, Eric, says Alex Puente, taking the kids to school in the race car before a 50-mile trip to work. This 95mm pulley, hopefully gonna party on this ESS. Like you said, spend some time with your pops cooking up some tomahawk steaks with the old man. Mustang market is crazy right now. No one is buying the 24 GT because the prices are cheaper than used S550s. Alex, for someone who wants to daily drive it, what would you recommend buying? A Cadillac Escalade. Sup, Theo? I'm a trucker. I was just in Springfield, Mass. What a shithole it has become. And you want to know when Springfield started becoming a shithole? When they legalized gambling and marijuana. The moment any state legalizes marijuana and gambling, it goes to shit. Don't forget cabin air filter behind the glove box in the Escalade. Don't forget the cabin air filter behind the glove box in the Escalade. Okay. People want to do race car things until it's time to do race car. 50,000 miles, though. 50,000 miles. This should last 50,000 miles. Based on what? Break out the ether. Driving a car to work 20 miles one way with a fender exit sucks ass. You literally get a face full of exhaust. You fender exit goofies make me laugh. Because you want to drive it with the window down, you will get a face full of exhaust. Alex's neighbor hear all the yelling and thinking he's really pissed off at that dog. That's funny. E85 to 100% not a daily driver fuel. Shit cuts your miles per gallon by 30%. I missed my 2016 6 or 82.3 Roush on 93. Ran 10.7. It was not daily for years. That is the threshold. Boost the pump, 650 river horsepower, stock everything else, maybe a 52 fuel injector. That's the max you can probably do for daily. The moment you got to put a fuel system in the bitch, it is not a daily anymore. Alex got me fired up this Sunday morning, telling dumbasses the facts. Mike G69er says, I'll be back. My tampon is full. Okay. Some shops think they are experts because they can read instructions on a kit. I am telling you, when a shop tells people, this is going to drive like stock, and it's got a return style fuel system, E85, ID 1700s, and pulleys for 20 PSI, your shop is 100% lying to you. Happy Mother's Day to all the 10 or 80 Mustang owners in here. Aftermarket Pumps might warranty hours, not miles. Exactly. Tell me exactly what fuel system says 100,000 mile warranty. How many times do you have to check the sock on a stock fuel pump on a Mustang? How many times do you have to check the fuel filter on a stock fuel pump equipped Mustang? How many times do you have to do any maintenance at all on a stock Mustang with a stock fuel system? But now you got an aftermarket fuel system, and holy shit, check the socks, check the lines, check the filter, check everything. Check your fuel. E85. How many of y'all just fill up and don't even, you just boop, I'm going racing without even actually checking the ethanol percentage? Most of you. The casino ruined that city. Casinos ruined city. Gambling is for degenerate fucks. If you gamble and smoke weed, I want nothing to do with you. You are not in my life. You are not in my way. If I find out anyone in my circle starts doing goofy shit like that, smoke weed and gamble, get the fuck out of my life. Because you're a fucking goofy. You're probably in debt to some Russian somewhere. You are lazy. You escape by smoking. Oh, I'm anxious today. I'm smoking. Shut the fuck up. You know what's funny? You guys are going to start, a lot of you guys think Alex, is full of da-da-da. And your hero is Joe Rogan. Did you hear that motherfucker stop drinking? And then he says, why am I drinking? I feel like shit the next day. Why am I drinking? Oh, I came to that conclusion when I was 17. Nope. Y'all motherfuckers go, well, if Joe Rogan says it, I bet you motherfuckers got ivermectin like a motherfucker stocked up in your shit. They gave me ivermectin, didn't do shit. I just stopped eating like a fucking asshole. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't have any bad habits, so I don't generally get sick. I got burned a week ago and look, it healed up like fucking Wolverine. Y'all motherfuckers. I just put on a Roush 2650 kit to have a cheaper carb legal daily driver, and I figured out it would be reliable being a Ford Performance product. Never had an issue, just ran 10.5 in the quarter. That's how it is. Even with full bolt on 85 and off-road exhaust, the car gets annoying to drive even for a few days a week. Good morning, Mr. Flores in chat. Didn't say it was hard. It was a money loser. The price difference versus what I got, Copperhead Gasket says to Kevin Kennison. Shows up and defends fuel systems. Do also have pics of a certain employee at a certain fuel system company. I don't care about that. I really don't care about the whole, look, someone says, Alex supports Ford Innovations fuel systems. I would rather buy a Ford Innovations fuel system that has a guy showing his butthole to dudes on the internet than any other fuel system that exists in the Coyote market. How about that? That fuel system that has an employee that does shenanigans is a 10 times better fuel system than anything else that has burnt relays, Home Depot wire spools in the kit. A controller that looks like a child put it together in their living room. I would rather do a Ford Innovations fuel system. Call it a Seagate fuel system. Call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. It is the best fuel system in the market for those cars. Your nose will start feeling irritated and you'll get lightheaded smelling the fuel right by your face. Don't forget the hood exit blowing all over the windshield. The limit for your car daily is a mid 9-second. I don't give a fuck what the 8-second people say. Tio, ¿cómo estás? Says Ghost Burn. Road race suspension has a stock-like ride. No, it doesn't speak. Road race suspension has a stock-like ride. No, it doesn't, speaking from experience. Okay, you got to use quotation marks. You just had one long run-on sentence. Sorry, Joe Rogan smokes weed. Right, but he doesn't drink alcohol. And what's going to happen? One day he's going to go, why am I smoking weed? He is just late to the game. He is just late to the game. One day he's going to wake up and go, why am I smoking weed? I have 3 cars to rent on. I can afford booze or drug. I can't afford. Did you mean you can't afford booze or drugs? Smoking weed will bring you down and ruin your life before you ever know it. And gambling. Gambling. When I see people drag racing shoving money around, I'm like, boy, you are a loser. Like, I don't want to associate with losers. I don't want to associate with gamblers. I don't want to, oh, Alex, you don't got no money. That's right, I got no money. Got it. Oh, you live in a 1-1? Yeah, I got to live in a 1-1 in Palm Beach. You fucking Kansas City motherfucker. Alex, what's more fun daily in your opinion? A Boss 2 or 350? 350, better overall car. The cars are kind of similar in comparison. So what's the quickest a GT350 has been in the quarter bone stock? I think it's 12.2 or 12.1. Evo, us, a bunch of us have done all the testing. We have done all of this. And it's like a 12.1, 12.2 car with a competent driver. The Boss 302 is probably a 12.5, 12.6 car, maybe a 12.4 car with sticky tires with a competent driver. So quarter mile or acceleration, pretty similar. The moment comes when you have to turn the fucking thing. And you have to stop the thing. And I think the 350 is so far advanced in the stopping department and in the turning department that if you want to talk about what's the best daily-able premium Mustang, it's probably going to be a GT350. And you can still get a loan for them. You can't get a loan for a 14 Boss. Rogan realized he doesn't have any sorrows to drink away. That's funny. I've never seen the point of drinking. Joe Rogan smoked weed with Elon Musk on his show. Be a man and stop escaping from reality and smoking dope. 1320 and 4 needed a collab. Triple 465 is in mine. I believe it's a 4. System DR Fox you Defender, Breadman, and look how you ended up. Coyote Kelly. People, remember when all that shit was going down? And I was getting flack from the whole 4-valve community, which is 2 guys, which is hilarious because the whole 4-valve community is 2 guys. And they have John Mahovitz's name right there, ready to go. Mahovitz 5. And then I showed you that cutting keys is stupid, da-da-da-da-da. Then it went away. And then you started seeing all these motor failures pop up. And they're like, Alex, I got built by him and look at my piece of shit. Hey, he told me the crank is brand new and it had a pilot bushing in it. You know, I don't feel sorry for you. You should have just understood that when I talk on something, I've done all of that thought process. Like, what am I going to do? What happens if I open my mouth? Or, is this verifiable? So I had 3 places verify my motor was built like shit before I opened my mouth. I shipped it off to L&M. Asked them what's going on. They're like, yo, this is fucked up. I went to another shop here. They said, this is fucked up. And then I had Jake look at it. And Jake's like, this is fucked up. So I'm like, it's fucked up. Checking in, Theo. How's your son, Tony? Tony's doing good. Theo, would you rather have a poster of a fuel system and play in the background for a year or run a lethal system for 2 weeks? I would absolutely have the whole room plastered with the 4 Innovations guy than to run any other fuel system than 4. Weed is a gateway drug to other drugs. Dare to be different. You know what's funny? I said that to an employee of Power by the Hour who apparently smokes, which blows my mind. So I remember I was like, who stops at weed? How many of y'all know someone that just stopped at weed? Meaning, you smoke some weed, right? And the guy that sold it to you, don't you think he sells other stuff? That's the way I think. So a guy that sells weed probably has access to other shit. Pills, perks, uppers, downers, heroin, cocaine. Or he is 1 or 2 degrees separated from somebody that sells that stuff. So I don't want to be associated with anyone that smokes because they are 1 or 2 degrees separated from somebody who sells some pretty hard stuff. But when was the last time you met a guy that said, yeah, I just smoked weed and that's it? It was perfect. I did not need anything else. Nope. They go from weed to something else, and then maybe they have a bad, they have a bad experience, and then they go back to weed. Every single person I've met that smokes marijuana, the devil's lettuce, has done something else, which means marijuana is the gateway drug to other drugs. And when I said this to this person at PBH, they laughed at me. I mean, belly laughs. Then I asked him, have you ever done any other drugs beside weed? And he shut his fucking mouth. Alex, see that crash war in the woods? Nope. Can't. I'm holding a cat. Can't type. Says Smash Devour. Skip the weed and go right to the rock. Jesus. CB says, I got a clean 89 LX notch. Okay, clean 89 LX notch. Stock block, turbo, Terminator X, Turbo 400, E85, built big aeromotive fuel system. Build a Dart long block or Coyote swap. Look, I don't think you can go wrong with either. If you are going turbo, Dart block, built by a competent shop, it's going to be a smaller package, probably easier to service, but you got to service it. A Gen 3 bottom end or an Illuminator bottom ended Coyote can make close to 1,000 without really sneezing at it. Viewer says GT350 reliable as an NA daily. No, I think a 350 is a toy. I think the flat plane crank lends itself to too many vibrations, too much harshness. I think it's a toy. I think it's something you shouldn't put more than a 25 to 30,000 miles on, like ever. Like if I see a GT350 with 40,000 miles, that shit is beat. The shit is beat. When I see a Coyote at 40,000 miles, I go, no problem. That's how I think about Coyotes and Voodoos. I go, Coyote at 70,000, 60,000, 50,000 miles, bone stock car, no problem. Shit's fresh, crispy, brand new. A GT350 at 40, 50, 60,000 miles, shit's beat. Fuck all that. As long as the dude from 4 ain't fucking with kids, it's all good. Fuel system is still the best. That's where I'm at. What 350 would you recommend? 19 to 20. 18 to 20 viewer. Yeah, that's good. 18 to 20 is the best bet. Hey, Alex, asking this question, but the only thing I find is mixed input. Can you fit a Cobra Jet intake manifold on a Gen 1 with no mods? Talking about lower motor mods, trimming and changing. I don't know that. I honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't know that. I've seen many Cobra Jet setups on Gen 1s, and they haven't had to drop the motor mounts or anything. Like Jeremiah Camp, I think, still has stock motor mounts, and he has a Cobra Jet in his shit. Hey guys, a little late, says Joseph Ramon. D-Rock Fox says, I had my motor built by him after Alex spoke highly about him, then the work showed itself. Okay, so that's my fault. I recommended somebody before seeing the result. I thought he was good based on his racing accolades, and then I went, oh no, he brings 5 motors to a track. Why do you bring 5 motors to a track and blame the motor? Oh man, me and I stopped smoking 2 or 3 years ago. Smoke less weed, more meth, says Mr. Vinny. Dudes love defending drugs. It's so weird. Hell, even the normal weed smokers aren't safe because strands are being laced with fent. Again, you are entering a world of okay. So I have generally not had any issues with anything ever. 47 years old, right? Go to the gym. I shut the fuck up. I have fun on the internet. It's fun. I make money talking shit about cars and stuff like that. But I have never had like a bad trip, a reaction. I don't suffer from some kind of depression because I come from the era of that doesn't exist. That's that's how I come from, the era where, you know, the word retard is an accurate description of somebody. So I don't like mince, you know, I don't have issues like that. I don't sit there and go, well, you know, I have, you know, anxiety. You know, Dad didn't come to my baseball game, so I'm still processing that. You know what I did with that? I used it for fuel. One of the worst things that can happen in my life is people not criticize me, because then I lack fuel. But the moment somebody talks shit, bro, my creative juices start flowing, and I'm in there. So I guess I come from a generation that I'm not gonna say we were more manly, but we didn't have the time to sit there and, you know, time. So when you, let's say you smoke and just sit there and do nothing for what? 2 hours? 3 hours? That doesn't exist in my world. I'm doing something always. There is no relaxing. No. I'm going to go to the gym after this. Then I'm going to install 2 tires on the Escalade. Then I'm going to work on the GT500. And by that time, it's 9 p.m. I'm going to sleep and starting again the next day. I got too much shit going on to sit there and smoke weed like a fucking loser. Yes, you are a loser if you smoke weed. I don't give a fuck. Hopefully Ford just starts delivering fuel systems. I said that's the best thing they should do. Shut the fuck up and start putting out fuel systems. Don't air your dirty laundry. There's other companies that are like crashing out right now. Crashing out over accusations of bad build and this and this and that. Shh. Do not reply. Pump out parts. 350 probably tram lines all over the road. Yeah, it does. It really does, clutch dumping. It really does. A 350 is not a good car if you have uneven roads. It just pulls left and right. Can a better set of mounts help the 350s a noticeable amount? What do you mean a better set of mounts? Connor, what do you mean a better set of mounts? That car was engineered to have what it has in it. Do you think the aftermarket can fix an OEM problem? Maybe in a performance aspect, but not in a longevity aspect. Name a part that the aftermarket makes besides a CP4 pump upgrade on diesels that extends the longevity of a vehicle. I've heard you speak on Gen 2 350s being better than Gen 1s. What's the difference? The motor. The Boss has merit as a daily because the Roadrunner is more solid than the Voodoo, right? Nope. No, it doesn't make any sense. That the Roadrunner in stock form is less powerful than the Voodoo. But when you boost it, so now we're talking daily? I guess the 350 would be a better daily, but in the same breath, I wouldn't daily a 350 because of the flat plane crank. CJ fits on a Gen 1 with no mods. Gen 2 3 requires a lowered motor mounts. Internal and block are the difference, says Rami Zaidan on the 350s. Right, Rami, you have to like type everything. When it comes to this chat, nobody's in your head. So you have to go on the GT350 in 2018 to 2020. The internals are different than 16, 17, period. I put 60,000 miles on my 350 in a year only to replace the coolant reservoir. Got lucky, but selling it was a relief. I got a contact high once and it felt like shit the next day. Never wanted to try it after that. Also quit drinking recently too. Good for you. See, Florida is not a good place to not do that. Florida is not a good place to not do that. So you come to Florida and you have vices. Florida just multiplies that because it's so accessible. 2 weeks ago, dude died at a shipyard. Dude went to lunch, came back, died on the job from laced fent weed. Only weed I can grow is my own. Welcome to Bitcha Level, Mr. Chief Noble. Thank you for the Bitcha Level membership. Appreciate it. Go to the gym or go to work. Stop crying. You don't have time to feel anxious. You don't have time to feel down. You don't have time to feel depressed if you have a full-time gig, a good side hustle, and you go to the gym. If you don't go to the gym, I don't understand you. As a man full of rage and like, I'm pissed off at everybody, you leave the gym, you're like, yeah, wow, it was a good workout. Whew, I'm tired. Whew. Right? You got to get that energy out. And you know, a lot of people, what do you do at the gym? I would lift really heavy shit. There was a kid at the gym, 14 years old, 15 years old. And he's like, hey, can you spot me? Sure, he was lifting, 120 pounds. Young kid. So the fact that he's lifting 120 benching is pretty good. So I sat there and he pumped off 7 reps. I was like, good for you. Good job. So he's like, yeah, I'm trying to work on progressive overload. I said, you're 14. Lift heavy shit. Shut the fuck up. Lift heavy shit a lot. Don't overthink progress. You're 14. You're still growing. Just pump shit out. You don't see me progressive overloading. I just put more weight on it and lift heavy. So a lot of people think that, well, I'm not going to go to the gym if I have anxiety, Once you get in there, it is now a battle of attrition between you and the weight. It's you and the weight. Those 3 plates are going up today. 3 plates are going up. And when they don't go up, you feel like fuck. So now your whole life becomes get those 3 plates up. So what do? You work on, making sure like a upright, like a incline, shoulder press. You want to work on your pressing. And then one day, those 3 plates go up. And it is like a project coming to fruition. So now what's next? 4 plates. And you work for months, sometimes years, to get that extra plate up. And that becomes your long-term thought process when you go to the gym. Not to do not to look at bitches. No. I mean, the gym is a completely different thing, and no one in the car industry understands it. They're all fucking homos, drinking their old fashions, hanging out, doing nothing. Fuck you. I don't understand people. That's why I don't fuck with anybody in the racing industry. They're all bitches. If your herb has fent in it, you put it there. You didn't have time to complain because there's fulfilling work. Well said, you're the man, we're the same age. Craig Wallace says, enjoy your fathers while they're still around, gentlemen. We lost my wife's father yesterday to a stroke. Pretty rough day for us to say the least. Shit, you lost your father-in-law yesterday to a stroke the day before Father's Day. Holy shit, bro. Like, when Dad died, that it doesn't hit you right away. You know when it hits you? When you're like driving somewhere. When you're like alone in the car, and that's a good place to do a lot of thinking in the car. You just think, and that's when you're like, man, but at the same time, you hadn't fucked with them for a little bit because you're living your own life, but then now that he's gone, you're like, shit, he's not there no more to like call, hang out, tell him, you did this and that, and maybe get some advice from. So yeah, Father's Day to me is the most important day of the year. I'm sorry, and men are way more important than anyone else on the planet. There's this woman, ridiculous. Like, okay, no electricity. No man, no electricity. No men, no airplanes. No man, no infrastructure. No man, no bridges, no roads, no nothing. So I'm blown away that men are not celebrated more in the West culture. Crazy to me. Ghostburn, you'd be shocked how many people tweak off of, okay, we're talking about fucking weed. The people that smoke, okay. Do you already have one viewer? Doesn't leave. Do you already have one viewer? Just leave it alone. Doesn't matter. Dude smoking bud on every boat cruising those intercoastals. That's why you don't see me on a boat out there at all. You don't even have time to beat your meat. Seriously, someone else has to do that for me. These boys aren't built for tough. They're built for proud. Thanks for TDC last night. You got it, brother. Spot me, Unk. It sounds like you were really close to your pops-in-law, Craig Wall. Sorry for your loss. It's interesting. Like, I remember I dated a girl who had a really good dad. That guy's name was Charlie. He was a great guy. And nobody got more fucked than him. And he had a good attitude about it. He was like, yeah, well, shit happens. Bro, your wife cheated on you with your best friend and tried to take your whole all your money. Yep, it sucks, but what are you going to do? You only live once, right? I'm going to enjoy my boat and just, go live on my lake house and just have a good time. And I'm like, wow. I can't imagine he doesn't have some crazy rage built up inside him, but he put up a good face. And he was a great guy. He was like, positive, kind of annoying, but in a dad way. And I looked at him and I'm like, boy, this guy's legit. This guy's like so legit. Wife cheated on him with his best friend. And I'm like, yo, how do you not want to kill everybody? I don't know why people just don't get high on Jesus. Fuck, man. Unreal. The only time a man should be anxious, in my opinion, is when a life-changing event happens. Big job, interview, kids being born, marriage. Yeah, marriage is the big one. Because you're giving up your life for her. And you hope she ain't no whore. That, that's a man's worst nightmare. They built something. A life. Whether they're a welder, a carpenter, electrician, pipe fitter, pilot, whatever. You've built something. And what does a woman bring into the relationship? Her pussy. and you're like, all right, I'm gonna marry this puss, and if she one day feels like it's not going well, she can take half the shit I built. That's crazy. I daily a 6'2 Raptor looking for torque, not chasing. Bye. No, okay, let's read it. Fuck, I'm sorry. I just hear Raptor and I'm Daily, a 6'2 Raptor looking for torque, not chasing horsepower. Want strong low-end pull with a modular motor. A 10 PSI pump gas. Thinking Whipple 2.9 or Roush 2.3. Roush 2.3 by far. It is not even a competition. Roush 2.3. Dio, I remember those TDC lives with stories of your pops. Yeah, he was good people. My dad was good people. He sacrificed everything. And you know what he got in return? Sick. Sick. Stress. But dad, no, there was no more stressed person in my teenage years than my dad. He was raising 3 kids and his wife wasn't doing so great. You know, she was, suffering with some, issues. And he somehow held it together. I didn't see him crack. I didn't see him nothing. He just shut the fuck up and did his job and went to work, brought home money, and, taught you how to be a man. So when I see a man crying over a bitch, I'm like, I can't help you. I am not equipped to give you advice on this. I am the wrong guy. Alex, when you did your T56 swap, did you use a spacer behind the slave cylinder? No. Didn't need it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just slammed shit in and it fit and it's working. I guess I didn't, overanalyze that shit. Let Jesus take the wheel. Most suburbs, white people response ever and cancer. Well, damn, Alex, I was going to say your dad got nothing in return, but that's tough. He got nothing in return. He just got sick. Meaning, so the stress manifests itself in a physical form, but dad wasn't be like, oh, I'm stressed out, let me smoke some weed. No, dad was like high blood pressure. He wasn't a healthy eater, and I think that's why I go to the gym. If dad would have, okay, I wish I could show you a picture of my father at 47 and me at 47, because and again, are you 47? Are you in your 40s right now? And again, I'm not trying to say I'm badass or nothing. I'm just giving you an example. I generally don't portray a 47-year-old. Right? Like when you look at me, do you go, yeah, that's the typical 47-year-old body. That's exactly what they look like. Like this is what all 47, unless, whatever. So dad was really unhealthy. But then when you think back, I'm like, oh, he was just really, he had a tough life, like real tough life. But he was happy to see 2 of his kids have children, not the star pupil. I can't be bogged down by that bullshit. Because my brother and sister, if anyone should not have had children, probably should have been them. But that's a whole nother story, probably for the dating channel. Joseph Roman says, I have solid bushings everywhere in my BMW 135. It went from being able to daily drive it to absolutely horrible to drive on the street. I have maximum motorsports lower control arms. It clicks and clacks. It's got spherical bushings. But you know what? Not so bad that it's a problem. But I would not install a tubular front end. I would not install aftermarket control arms. And I would not install a aftermarket upper control arm that's spherical on the rear. I'd probably do like a, UPR, soft bushing, whatever, adjustable a little bit, but nothing crazy back there. And now that I have come across a vehicle that I can, okay. So I have the ability to buy this vehicle that is going to be what Donnie would have been. You know what I mean? So while I drive Donnie, I'm like, this car's perfect. Like, if anything, a centrifugal would be better on Donnie than a PD blower. I have an opportunity to buy a project that would have a linear, thought process in the Donnie build. The Donnie build right now needs to be boosted. So I have the ability to have access or buy a car that is literally Donnie completed. And I'm like, yeah, I'd rather do that, because in order to get Donnie to that point, it's a year or 2 of work and a lot of labor and probably double the money. So I was like, yeah. So then I've been driving Donnie around, and as an NA car, I can race a lot of BMWs, not real fast ones, but like stock stuff. I'm right there with him with Donnie. I raced one going to over the intercoastal bridge, going into Jupiter, like psychopaths. Some young kid was fucking egging me on. And I'm like, all right, motherfucker, I'm Donald Ross. Yeah! Over the bridge. I bought a car and a half. And my exhaust was in his face the whole time. Got to the next light. He was happy as shit. Holy shit, that was a good race. I'm like, yeah, good race. He goes, what's done with it? I'm like, intake, E85, and exhaust. And he's like, whoa, that thing fast. I got him out of the hole. That's what really did it. Because he wasn't really, experienced. Did the clutch spacer seem to work on the ZR1? Yes. Ooh. Guys, good job. Good segue. What the fuck is this? Happy Dad's Day. Fuck all y'all. Happy Dad's Day. Someone putting that. Okay. So here we go. Look at that guy. Look at that. That's the spacer right there. It is it's a pilot bushing spacer that was made by a guy in Lake Worth. We went from a 3D printed part to that right there. So the 3D printed part, sorry, the stupid light is in the way. What the fuck? Oh. There we go. Just give it some time. So the 3D printed part is the one that has the bearing in it. The steel part is the one, obviously, that's made out of steel. And press fitment was great. Bearing fitment was great. And then the flywheel, which had to be extended out an inch. Basically, we married two flywheels together and pocketed the second flywheel for weight so we can save some weight. So now this has now extended everything out to engage the splines properly on the clutch. And I was able to put it all together and take a picture of it. And it looks really good. Everything is going pretty well. I took some measurements and Jake thinks there's some measurement discrepancies. So he's trying to get with me on what kind of spacer we need, or we just slam the motor in and see how much we need and go from there. There's got to be more to life than chasing down every temporary high to satisfy me, says Stacy Orico. Don't know who the fuck that is. Oscar AA says, hey, Theo, it might be a dumb question, but for a naturally aspirated, you only need one catch can, right? The one on the passenger side, 15 GT. Why? Ay, me duele todo. Vent both or recirculate both. Vent both or recirculate both. I don't know how much simpler I can say things. How can I teach this kid? I'm 24, says Amir Seer. You're young. The Garage Story, real man shit. 56 years old, then real healthy. The Garage Story. What are we talking about? The Garage Story? Ghostbird? Can you clue me in on that? 38, I shut the fuck up and get to work, HVA tech, and teach in the evenings. Good for you. It's a lot of money to make that jump from another car, but essentially you're buying your time back to get the same product. He made a video over this. Exactly, Bryson Witt. I've literally made the video, and they're asking the question. See, you need to remind me, Ghostburn, my dad in the Garage Story. My dad in the Garage Story. Which one is my dad in the Garage Story? It's not coming to mind. But maybe I said it on the dating channel. Not sure. You want to talk about that? Father's Day was especially tough for my dad. And wow, I don't want to do this on Father's Day because it'll okay. This is the difference between generations. Some punk came to the my dad was a G. And okay. So this is the biggest difference. Okay. I'll tell the story. I don't think I've said this before, but they're both passed away. So my father passed away and he was sick. And he was sick for a long time. And he got to the point where he couldn't really move his arms and walk or anything. He could communicate, but he had a couple of strokes. He had a couple of heart attacks. He was just pretty beat up by the end of it. But remember, your dad was this big statuesque person that you felt was the strongest dude ever. So to see him frail there was tough. But he had it even worse because, okay, so me and my dad kind of after I moved out, I did my own thing. I was a man, so I'm paying bills and I'm not seeking him out all the time. So I would see him a couple times a year, maybe 3. And he didn't like that because he's you're my, you carry my name. I want you to be around more. And I'm but I got responsibilities and bills. What do you want me to do? Like, stop that? So, he had a tough time with that, but he understood because he's like, yeah, that's what I raised you for. You came out good, whatever. But this is the difference in generations with men, right? So my grandfather, his name was Eladio, and he was a stoic. He was born in like 1901. Wait. Yeah, he was born in like 1901. Like, old. And he was in his 80s. Still able to get around. He always chewed tobacco. The dude chewed tobacco every fucking day. Every day, chewed tobacco. Big spit. He would spit. It was just this red, nasty blob on the ground. I remember that as a kid. I'm like, ugh. But, he was crusty and old, but he was able to get around. So my grandmother was constantly having heart attacks. She was diabetic, so she was just, slowly, withering away. And he looked at how she was being cared for. And he was so proud of, he was a prideful man. He's like, ain't nobody wiping my fucking ass. Right? Ain't nobody wiping my ass. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Fuck that. So much so that he hung himself so that people would not have to take care of him that way. He was able-bodied enough to be able to take care of it, right? And the generations won't understand this, especially if you're younger. If you're younger, you don't understand that in many eyes can be seen as a prideful thing. I'm going to go out my way. I'm going to go out my way. I'm not going to have somebody wiping my ass. I'm not going to have somebody feeding me pudding. I'm not going to have somebody, wiping my dick after pee. I'm going to go out my way. Took a little bit for me to go, whoa, that guy was so, again, different generation. Okay. So he was like, I'm going to, again, I was a kid, so I didn't really know this, but my dad was telling me the story. He's like, yeah, he hung himself because he's like, I wasn't going to go out like that. I saw his grandmother was just constantly, heart attack and this and that. And he was 80 something. And he's like, while I still am able to get up there, I'm going to take care of it. And he took care of it. So my dad felt he was strong to do that. Again, different generations think differently. My dad felt that guy was strong to do that. So my dad struggled with the fact that he wasn't strong enough to do that. You understand? So that, like, dad had like compounding issues with that, like the thought process, like my dad was stronger than me because he was able to take care of it himself. And I feel like I'm like not able-bodied enough to take care of it. So, like talking him off the ledge was tough, and it was like, but I understood where he was coming from because ain't nobody wiping my ass. Ain't nobody doing this. Ain't nobody doing that. But ended up, they were wiping his ass. They were doing all this stuff. So he went out not the way he wanted to go out. My grandfather, in my dad's eyes, went out the way he wanted to go out. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Nobody's wiping my ass. Nobody is wiping my ass. Nobody is going to be like feeding me pudding. Why? Because I'm going to take care of myself, right? So I want to be that guy 80, 90 and not this, bare leaking function type person. So that's why I don't want to wrench on cars forever, because what happens, you just have back issues and you're constantly walking around like this. So there is a point in life where you're like, all right, longevity is now starting to kick in. Let's make this body last me as long as possible. So those of you that drink, smoke, eat too much, hell, if you smoke cigarettes and drink, and if you're fat, drink and smoke, you will not make it long unless you're like this genetic miracle. Some people are, but most people aren't. So why do I go to the gym that much? So I can be that 70, 80-year-old motherfucker that doesn't look like he's about to fall off. You know what I mean? So there is a thought process, especially as I was younger, seeing all that. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to be healthy. Fuck all that. And if in the event I see shit going down, I'm like, I'm going to go out my way. Again, splatting on the side of a mountain or something in my twin turbo Cobra that there is nothing to be, picked up. You're just like, hose it off because homeboy, he made it simple for us. Just hose that area off and we'll be good to go and pick up the car parts and we're good. So yeah, different generations think differently about longevity and pride and how they should carry themselves. So yeah, that's what my dad kind of went through that, especially on Father's Day. He was like, oh shit, my dad was stronger than I was and I wasn't able to do what he did. And it was an interesting conversation to have. Let's skip over that. Alex, what phone do you have? Getting tired of this iPhone. Gonna trash it eventually. S23, about to upgrade to an S20. The best phones I've ever had in my life are the S series Samsungs. Nothing else compares. I've literally tried them all. These are the ones that I like. Oh, did you look it up, Bryson? What is this? What is this? Oh, this is the Catch Can video. I was like, what the fuck? I thought you looked up like me talking about the dad garage story. The dad garage story is good. I could probably end with that, but you guys probably, don't care. You guys think I'm embellishing. Or the Jesus flip-flop, sorry about your brother. Gen 1 Coyote intake and exhaust tune. What should I do next? Nothing. Boost, maybe. My traditional side is fighting my Zoomer side. Right. You should see him. You should see what this guy looked like. See? You want to see... I got a picture of my grandfather because I was going through old Polaroids. And... So, okay, I was born in the Stoughton area in Massachusetts. And then I moved to Puerto Rico when I was 9 months old. And then I stayed there until I was 6 years old. And I guess a lot of shit happened between that time because, Dad talks about it. Dad talks about it a lot, about all the shit that happened during that time. And I came back when I was 6 years old. So I got to know my grandfather. I got to know my grandmother. All my uncles had like fucking 11 uncles over there. So, as a young boy, I got that experience of like a very big family in very bad circumstances, like really poor. But my grandfather was like such a stoic figure and he looked mad all the time. And I'm trying to find the photo. I'm delaying so I can find. Here it is. This is the photo. Okay, I'll zoom in. This is a photo of me, my grandfather, and my grandmother the day I left Puerto Rico to come live here. I think I had a Video Invaders shirt on. That is me at 6 years old. So this is my grandfather, my grandmother, and me at 6 years old. That guy, look at the dude's jawline, right? Like I'm a mix of like Spanish heritage on grandfather's side, Taína, which means, native to the island, Puerto Rican, my grandmother, and obviously I'm a mix of the two in the middle. So that guy is he wore that hat all the time, very Puerto Rican, like super Puerto Rican. So that, he was like, I'm seeing all this shit go down. I might as well just take care of it before it gets really bad. Oh, crazy. Alex, sneak out of the nursing home and steal a fast car and go crash. Exactly. Alex, when you're ready to go, just book your flight to Air India. Oh my God, stop it. Dude, you know what I saw with the Air India stuff? They were putting up charred bodies on a gurney. And I'm like, oh. What are you going to take to the hospital? And chunks were falling off of people. Oh. Not good. I've had those thoughts. Kind of how would I like to go out? Want to be healthy enough to still work 3 pedals in the 2060s. Make sure you have an advanced directive. Those choices aren't made for you if you're incapacitated quickly. Yeah, I need to like have like a no resuscitate clause. Like don't let me go. I got too many bills. Almost 40 in the tech and definitely had the mindset of not wanting to wrench forever. Seeing all these 60-year-old techs hobbling around. Boost definitely they will like it and respect it. Garage story. I don't know if they'll like it. I might end it at the last 10 minutes. At 10:50, I'll say the garage story. Started to not to feel so invisible when I heard my back messing with a 120-foot messing with a 120-foot shackle? Like for rigging? Whoa. Damn, dude looks scary, straight boss. That dude did not play. That guy was a menace, Motherfucker most definitely made some people disappear. Your granddad looks like a mob boss. Right. And people don't believe me. Like, people think I embellish stories. I have no reason to embellish shit. I am just hate to say it this way, I am cut from a different cloth. My dad, old school as fuck. Grandfather, old school as fuck. I maintain that old school as fuck mentality. These soft motherfuckers right now that go on Facebook complaining about anything, blow my mind. Not even the mob would fuck with that mug. For a goodbye, he said fuck off. A photo of dad, I was in there. This is Father's Day, so this is proper. Yeah, he was such a he was a great guy. It's okay. Okay. So you saw my grandfather, right? Now look at my dad and mom. You see, that's my dad. He looked like, like, oh man, this light is washing out the picture. No, it's just how it is. Dad looked like he would off your shit. He'd stuff you in a trunk. He was 6'2", 260 or something. He's a big man. He would stuff you in a trunk and make you go, sleep with the fishes. Like, that's the kind of dude I grew up with. Those glasses, that hairline, that mustache, a suit. The dude walked around in a fucking suit. He wasn't some soft ass motherfucker. So, that the person that raised me, that, not some bitch, so I guess my mentality comes from him. Same thing Scott Bloomquist did after terminal cancer diagnosis. Flew his airplane into his own barn and took care of it himself. Yeah, I don't think I want to fly anymore. Grandpa looks like he gave straight hands no bell. Yes. Yeah, he wasn't about the bell. He's about slapping you. Is that Escobar? About business, Papa Flores. Yep. The time I was in charge of prepping supply, rigging, heavy lift shift. Bro. Now your dad looked like a mob. Now your dad looked like a mob boss, but your granddad looked like he'd take on a mob. looks like Pablo. Your dad was Carlito's way. Literally. So see, okay. As a young kid, yeah, so let me see a mob boss. Let me type in mob boss, right? I'm just going to type in mob boss on Google Images. Yeah. Let me see if I got like the glasses. Yeah. My dad loved these glasses and you know what? It was the style back then. Oh no, display capture is not working. Oh, bro. Forget it. I'm not going to re-engineer this whole thing. Display capture is being gay. Duplication, Windows 10. Let me see. That works. This does not work. This is so stupid. Automatic? Let me see automatic. Nope, doesn't work. Don't care. Fuck it. Leave it alone. Let me go back to duplication. DJ duplicate. Okay, good. So it's just Google Mob Boss, and those glasses were, let me see. I'll do it on the phone because it's easier. Mob Boss. I'm still not 100% sure what my dad did for a living. I'm still not 100% sure. The way he looked made me go, I mean, I know what he did, but I'm not going to mention it. Dude passed. But, I mean, you can mention it, but I'm looking for, like, a picture of, like, all these mob guys wore these glasses that were very popular in the 80s. Mob boss glasses. Yes, these glasses. These glasses are like the mob guy glasses, and it's like the so dad loved wearing that shit, loved it. So I'll finish up with the garage story. So again, talking about how my dad dude ran Holyoke. He didn't run Holyoke, but I think he protected who ran Holyoke. I decided that I was going to be like all old plumbers who I work with, and I got an engineering degree with plumbing and got into the nuke plants in Illinois. More money, way better health-wise. Yeah, look, eventually you got to preserve yourself. And if you see everybody around your industry being a fat fuck and messed up backs and shit, it's probably time to get out of that industry. Look, I became a tuner after being a millwright for 13 years. And I'm like, there is no future in being a millwright. I am going to die in this profession, or I'm going to be extremely unhealthy in this profession. And I'm working with my brain and trying to help you guys, whatever. So let's talk about the garage door with my dad and Father's Day on this. No. So dad worked Hold on. Alex, you think this generation is soft because of being raised by single mothers? Oh, absolutely. And we could talk about that on the dating channel. Absolutely. A lot of guys were raised by their moms, and men with emotions are the most dangerous creatures on the planet. A man with male strength, male thought process, with emotions, like not with emotions, but emotional, and he is ran by his emotions like women are, it is why you see people on Facebook complain all the time. Garnering, well, look at this, and I can on Facebook. I'm different. So, right, worked, right. So my dad worked, again, I don't know this stuff. Just you see the photos. At a garage, and that's where I got my love of cars. That's where I saw my first Celine Mustang. That's where I was like, I want cars in my life. It was embedded in me. I would drive a RX-7 around the block to wear in the clutch, and I would do brake bleed jobs on Cadillacs, and Grand Nationals were very normal back then. Again, I grew up in the 80s. I was in Holyoke, Massachusetts from 84 to 96, and then 96 and up, I was in Springfield. So, you know, I got my love of cars there. So at the end of the day, about 4:50, they stopped. They swept up the whole shop. And then they would bring the cars in, cordon off the entrance with the doors up. Again, Massachusetts isn't really nasty and gross in the summertime. It's muggy, but it's generally nice and crisp. Not like here. Here it's muggy and gross. So at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, the nice breeze, beautiful time. So they turn on the Spanish station. They get a couple of 12 packs from the liquor store, and they sit there from 5 to 6 and just have some beer, listen to salsa, and talk some shit for an hour before they all go home. And I would be there to soak in these 7 guys' knowledge, you know, just being a young guy in front of older guys, listening to them talk philosophy and regrets. It's very important. It really embeds itself in you, and you're like, whoa, that's something that, you know, it's a different perspective. So one guy showed up at about 5:10 with an Audi, just shows up, and he is very boisterous and loud, and he's talking this shit. He goes, yo, I need some tires changed on my car, bro. I need to get some stuff done. And my father's like, you can come back tomorrow. You can come back tomorrow. We'll be open tomorrow. We're just hanging out right now. He goes, no, you don't understand. And it looked like he was like a young street guy, you know, like you guys would say he's a YN, but he was a young street guy back in the day, Puerto Rican guy. And I'm sure he was slinging dope or whatever. So he had a nice Audi, and he was like, I need some new tires. And it's, you know, my dad's like, come back tomorrow. He's like, no, you don't understand. I want this shit done now, and you got to do it now. And my father, I think he was kind of affiliated, but I don't know. So my dad had these mini Budweisers. You guys remember mini Budweisers? Do they still sell mini Budweisers? Mini Bud. Do they still sell mini Budweisers? The little shorty can, you know, little shot, like a little like an 8 ounce or something, right? So dad had one of those freshly cracked open, you know, and he's just sitting there, and this guy is getting closer and closer to his face, saying, yo, you better hurry up and get my tires done. I got 4 tires in the trunk. I don't want them changed. Da. Yeah, stubbies, right? Yeah. Do they still? They're little Budweisers. I remember the can used to be white. So my dad is looking at him straight in the face, and this guy's getting closer and closer to his face. And my father goes and proceeds to dump his freshly cracked open mini Budweiser on this guy's head. And the guy was like this, in shock that it's happening. He must have had a fresh haircut, and he's like, and you know what my dad did that to this day I applaud him for? He didn't just spill the beer on him. He spilled the beer on him, and then he did this move to get the last drop out of that motherfucker. He went like this. He went. So, you see the stream of beer, and it's frothing in this guy's head. And he's like, and he's looking at him in the eyes like this. And you know what he does? He goes, to get the last drops of beer on his head. And he goes, And then he said, ¿Qué carajo tú vas a hacer, ñemo? Ñemo is like a buster, bitch ass in Spanish. ¿Qué carajo tú vas a hacer, ñemo? And he's like, in shock. So he goes and picks up a tire iron, but my uncle, who worked at the shop, he goes, if you're going to fight fair. So drop that, he also had a tire iron. He goes, you hit him, we're going to have a problem. But if you want to fight, you fight fair. And he's like, all right, watch. Gets in his Audi, takes off. So my father's like, fucking yaml, cracks open another beer. Bam. And I was like, what the fuck's gonna, I'm watching this. I'm like, I'm a kid. I'm 14. And I'm like, holy shit, what's gonna happen? And then the guy's like, I'm gonna come back full. Meaning he's gonna bring people. He's gonna jump dad. So I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So nobody came. So I was like, so dad hung around. He goes, I'll wait fucking half hour. I don't care. My dad had blicks, but he was just like, I don't care. That guy's a punk. So guy never showed up. Never saw him again. So that guy seemed to disappear from like the neighborhood. He just was gone. Like that guy, you'd see him a lot and he's just gone. I'm like, damn, did dad kill the dude? Like what the hell happened? So dad went out that night. You never know. So fast forward 4 years. I can't believe it. I'm at Stop and Shop. And I see him. There he is. That son of a bitch. So I'm like a young man. So I'm like, I think I'm, top shit, This guy was skinny. He didn't look like he was doing that good. So I saw him and I was like, hey. And he's like, oh, what's up? You're tú eres el hijo de Don Ale. And that sentence to this day fucks me up. He says, tú eres el hijo de Don Alex. And I'm like, I guess. Like, no one calls my dad Don Alex. Don Alejín. Tú eres el hijo de Don Alex. And I'm like, yeah. I said, what happened that day? Bro, what happened that day? He's like, I was on some bullshit. I had, I started popping. I had a little money in my pocket. I thought I could, I had gone to that garage before to get work done. You guys were super nice, but I was just, out of line. And then, what your dad did to me was like so embarrassing. I said, yeah, but what happened after that? He goes, well, I went back to get my people and I told him what happened. And I said, hey, we got to go to Commercial Street and take care of this guy. And they were like, okay, let's go. Who is it? And they're like, some guy named Alejín. And they were like, Alejín? Don Alejín? On Commercial? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, you fucked with him? And they're like, yeah. He's like, well, he spilled beer on my head because I wanted tires changed. And and they're like, he's kind of with us. According to him, Dad knew and was connected a little bit in that town. So they were like, that guy's with us. What'd you do to disrespect him? Alex doesn't just spill beer on top of your head just cuz. What'd you do? So now his crew was questioning him like, hey, what the fuck did you do to him to have him spill beer on your head? So basically, they left it alone. And they're like, no. So he basically got pushed out of that group. Threatened, like, hey man, you're not acting right, you're acting a little sideways, you're threatening our people or people that we're affiliated with, so we'd rather not have you in the group. So he was like ostracized or whatever, so you didn't see him in the neighborhood anymore. And that's the only time I saw my dad as a different person, as a completely different person. I was like, at 18 years old, I had already moved out of my house. That is when I realized dad was a different person than I thought he was. Again, he was just a guy that, my dad, just around, took care of business, taught me how to be, respect, da-da-da-da-da. And apparently he was connected in such a way in that town that, if anyone kind of got sideways, they would check him automatically. So that's my Father's Day story for you guys. A lot of you guys have fathers that are going through shit and you don't know what they've gone through. Like a lot of you probably are mad at your dad because you didn't do enough or whatever. Understand this. There's a lot of shit and a lot of demons and skeletons in the closet, and men generally of a certain generation do not air their dirty laundry. That's why I am blown away where there are guys on Facebook trying to cause trouble, drama, telling everyone their business. And that is just not a generation I'm even familiar with. You saw the people that I look up to as my role models, my grandfather and what they look like and how they lived. So don't get mad at me if I call y'all pussies for smoking weed and acting goofy. I'm 47. I was raised by a completely different generation type. So that's why I kind of like am the way I am. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here and ended it on a Father's Day note. Again, celebrate dads today. It's a big deal. They're the most important people on the planet. Men, fathers, people going through shit, sacrificing everything to raise families. I know how hard it is, so much so that I don't want to do it. No, thank you. You guys got it covered. I am good. No kids for me unless they're scattered around somewhere that I don't know about. I'm good. Have a good rest of your Father's Day, guys. Celebrate Father's Day. It's a great day, the best day of the year. It's pretty interesting that like two things are pretty close to each other, like Marvin Killdozer's birthday, and then Killdozer Day and then Father's Day are kind of close to each other. So that's kind of interesting. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to be working on the cars all day today. I'm going to go to the gym right now and blow off some steam. So I'll try to get you guys video shorts and all that stuff on the live streams. But we'll be back on Tuesday for Talk Shit Tuesday, and we'll hang out then. Have a good rest of your Father's Day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.